Guess what we got here today? Guess what we got, y'all? We got our first male guest on the show. Pressure! Okay, so I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. I want to say thank y'all so much for coming on. We appreciate y'all, and y'all gonna enjoy this conversation because I got all y'all questions y'all put on Instagram, all y'all questions that we talked about separately when I was talking about the episode. They gonna get answered today, okay? So go ahead and introduce yourselves, fellas.
So we are MANCAVE, Escaping the Stigma, Building Men. My name is Jared White,
and I'm Marquise Stepter. And that's it.
That was perfect. That was perfect.
Yeah.
So, guys, this episode is called The Importance of Men. And let me tell you something. You can't be her without him.
Ooh. Okay. Ooh, I like that.
You can't be her without him. Mm-hmm. We riding around here like we don't need no man for nothing. I don't know about y'all, but I want one. I want one. I don't know about y'all. So we finna sit here. We finna get into this good talk. Let's go ahead and say our two little quick prayer. Y'all already know what it is. Lord, let your will be done in Jesus' name. So to get straight on into it, fellas. First question: are y'all dating?
No.
Why?
How long you got to answer that?
No, we can talk like
Okay.
I'm gonna let y'all know we get into the time question.
Okay. Got you.
Let's see. I'm not dating currently because I'm just not interested in dating right now. I'm really trying to get some things in my life together, get some more stability in it, and then when I feel the need to okay, I'm at that point I'm ready to talk to somebody, then I'll get out there. But right now I'm chilling. I'm good. I like to do what I want to do on my own time. I ain't really got to call nobody, text nobody. I'm just a free man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just chilling, working, living life.
Yeah, I 100% feel that. That's kind of my same answer. To add, I be thinking I'm ready because I'm ready for my boo thing, for real. But at the same time, though, the Lord be telling me sit down, real quick.
Yeah, you ain't
crazy. So
that's the same thing he be telling me too, though. That's the same thing he be telling me too, though. I'm like, Lord, where my husband is going? If y'all watch the vlog, y'all know I was in the airport recently going to Jacksonville, and I was like, how we was talking about earlier off camera with the romance movie. I was like, well, we just come in here and we just look at each other it was so weird. But I asked you guys these questions because our first subtopic that we're hitting on is communication. So this communication. We're going to talk about communication, okay? And the first question is, can men and women have two different perceptions on reality?
Oh, definitely.
Yes, but are you asking can they have two different perceptions of reality and still be together?
No, just period.
Just period.
We talking about just men and women.
Absolutely, because they definitely do now.
Yeah, that's almost just how it goes. To be honest.
Yeah,
we don't see the world the same.
Why is it? Why do you think so?
I believe it's because we have two entirely different experiences. Yeah. The experience it is growing up as a man, being a man, the stigma, the expectations and things are completely different from the way that it is for, the women, and so that kind of shapes your perception of reality and kind of just, makes it more so opinion based or subjective.
Yeah. And I honestly feel too, we're just wired different.
Yeah.
To see things differently. You know what I'm saying? I
believe that.
A man is just he's wired to wake up in the morning, okay, gotta go to work, gotta make some money, gotta, it's we're essentially practicing who we're meant to be, but we don't really know how to do it just yet. So we kind of just figure it out.
It's good.
And you just kind of go stumbling along the way. Women don't know how to be nurturing out the gate. Men don't necessarily just know how to be providers. So the way that I see something as a 15-year-old versus as a 22-year-old is totally different, you know what I'm saying? Because by then I probably started coming more into how I'm really supposed to think.
Right.
So it's just different.
That's cool because I also feel that's kind of how God made us the way He did. Because if y'all didn't have that perspective, we didn't have that perspective. It's we had to have the two opposites so they attract. So where you lack, I'm good at, whatever I don't lack, you good at, and we could just do it like that. Yeah. So in that, let's see, in that, in relationships now, tell me how that is related to relationships. Not just men and women, but in relationships. Because I just took that all the way around. But I feel like that's how God made us, to be in that way. But do y'all feel like that helps or hurt a relationship, that the fact that, you know, the perspectives could be a little different?
Well, it depends. It depends on the importance you put on that, and also the way you build your relationship around that. Because, for example, you know, like her perception may be like, you know, I need to be, you know, be able to stand on my own.
Right.
And his perception is like, I need to be able to provide for you. So like, if both y'all realities are that different, I'm gonna always clash his, because he's always gonna be trying to give to you, and you're gonna be trying to reject that. Like, no, I can get it on my own. Not necessarily knowing, not necessarily knowing, like, okay, like that's just how he's showing his love for me. That's how he wants to show up for me. You know, that's just him being the man that he, you know, that he's grown into. And so then that can hurt a relationship. So like, the reality, they need to like meet up at some point. You know, or if y'all on different ends of the spectrum, at least be able to come together.
Right.
Yeah, and like to just kind of piggyback off of that, like, it really just depends, you know, it boils down to, like you were saying, what you allow it to do. Yeah. Because you can either make y'all's differences an arguing point, or you can make it something to where it's like, I appreciate your differences. You know what I'm saying? Like you were saying earlier, where I lack, you can make up the difference. And where I lack, or where you lack, I can make up the difference. You know what I'm saying? And like, make it work instead of just clashing heads, like he was saying, like actually trying to understand why the other person is the way that they are.
Right. I like that. And I like to think about it like that too, because I don't think too many people understand that that's the reason why like their particular relationship is not working. Because y'all got two different realities. First of all, you got two people from two different backgrounds, two different parents, two different raising styles. So you gotta come together and make some type of accommodation, some type of compromise in some way. Yeah. So if you don't have that I can see that being like a problem. And for you Miss Independence out here, because let me come back to that. Okay. You Miss Independence out here that don't want to be able to do nothing, you think you can do everything again. I won't. Okay, so do you feel like, or why do you think it's hard for most men to communicate and express themselves in relationships?
That's easy. We're not taught to as children.
Yep.
So like, part of our realities being different is also kind of like a societal thing too. Men only speak where they feel comfortable and where they've been taught to communicate. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I grew up as a child and there was no space for me to express how I felt about something, or to say what's on my mind or on my heart, I'm not gonna say it as an adult. That's a learned pattern. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna take that into a relationship, and because you haven't done it before, you haven't worked that muscle, you're not gonna know how to do it.
Yeah. And also, like, some men just don't feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of men, they want to be able to communicate in a way they know they're going to be heard, you know, and know that it's going to be like received, and you know, something can be done about it. Not, you know, like, if I communicate, then I know it's going to be a problem and this and that going on. Like, some of them really just don't even worry about it because they don't want the headache most times. But there are some men who can communicate. Some men are taught that, but it's very, very, very few that act important that the men feel safe to do so. To communicate.
So let me ask this question, because I gotta play my little role. So are you saying in relationships, the woman has to give him an environment to feel like he can express himself and communicate, and then he will? Or is it just like this just he wasn't taught that, it ain't gonna get done?
I mean, yes, because at the same time, women want a man that makes them feel safe and protected, and this and this and that. They want the same thing. That's kind of like what it is for men. To feel safe and protected means that I can trust you with my heart, with my words. And so if that's not there, he's not going to make the effort to learn to communicate, given, that he doesn't feel like it's going to be protected.
Right.
And I think too, on the man's end, there's got to be a willingness to do it. Because if he feels like, my heart's not safe here, or maybe she's asking me to open up and I don't know how, but I don't want to be vulnerable because I'm afraid to be weak, then it's not gonna happen because he's not open to it.
Yeah.
And she's gonna keep pulling and pulling and pulling, and she's ultimately gonna push him away.
That's crazy. Let me tell you why. And then we're gonna go on to the next question. Because I hear a lot of times men tell women, I can't read your mind. So you gotta tell me what you want.
Yes.
But in this instant, it's almost like y'all want us to read your minds. With because you ain't taught you communicate with I gotta make you comfortable, I gotta rub your back 3 times and pull on your pinky toe just for you to tell me how you really feel about something or to communicate to me. But it's like how can you say you want us to come out and tell you exactly what we want and communicate with you, but y'all can't do the same in return?
But see, women are more so capable of doing that. Also, women are more willing to do that.
Absolutely.
To just tell you, what's going on and this and this and that.
I just find it funny how
right. So that's why, give you a little insight like that. That's more than likely what it is, because 9 times out of 10 he won't say it. Like, and yeah, it is like playing jigsaw, with people who don't know how to communicate. This is how it's gonna be. So
I think another thing to look at too is like, I wouldn't call it, it's not really a double standard because it's not quite the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like with women, they say, oh, well, you need to know what we're thinking. But also what you have to realize with men is a lot of us, because we're not taught how to express our emotions, we've never even unpacked that. So we don't understand them. So it's difficult to understand something, to relate to something that you don't understand because you've never really experienced it. So whereas like, if I knew what it looked like to go on the emotional roller coaster of being angry and then sad or like being moody, then I can relate to it because I can see it in somebody else. But if I've never even opened that suitcase up, when she does it, I'm not gonna know what she's doing. I'm gonna just be like, dang, why she tripping? You know what I'm saying? So it's not really the same thing.
And so you gotta hear that. Look at me, I'm scratching my ankle. Y'all hear that? That means if he feel like you out here tripping. Okay. Moving on. So that's a good point to come into, because my next question is, what stopped men from understanding themselves in emotions? What stopped you from? I know in childhood, that wasn't something that you were taught and brought up with.
Right.
But at some point, you're 30.
Yeah.
I'm not against y'all, I promise. I'm here with them, and I'm just trying to get what they want to know. Because this is a little frustrating. This is a frustrating topic for most women because they're trying to understand, like, what's going on,
Yeah.
So, what stops them from getting to know what their emotions are, how to communicate, doing all this other stuff? What stops them from, okay, I didn't get it as a kid, but how can I work on this?
I probably would go out on a limb, and I'm gonna just say fear.
Okay.
I was definitely thinking that.
Because like, as men, a lot of people don't really know it, but the average man is very fearful. Like, very, because you have to think about, and I'm not saying that women don't have a lot to think, they have a lot on their plate too. We both have heavy loads, you know what I'm saying? But I think there's a different kind of pressure in a man's mind, because like, he has to worry about being a provider. He has to worry about being a father. He has to worry about being a husband. And like,
looking strong.
Yeah, he has to look strong. He can't be somebody that other men feel like they can run over. You know what I'm saying? He has to be the alpha male. He has to be powerful. And I feel like the average man, of course, we're afraid of all those things: failure, not being financially stable, and all that kind of stuff. Because a woman can go back home and live with her people. A man doesn't usually have that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of fears growing up, especially as a young man in America. You gotta hope that you make it home at night.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But to kind of bring it back to the point, I feel like men are afraid of being weak. You know what I'm saying? Because we've never had that side of us like catered to or looked after or nurtured for. So there's like no level of vulnerability there. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost that, like you were saying, I have to really, really trust you to open myself up and give you my heart, because we don't typically do that kind of stuff. We don't share our inner thoughts with people for fear of it being misused or typically used against us. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would just say fear.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would also like to add ignorance, because like you said, we never taught anything. So therefore, as we get older, we never saw, some would say, their fathers or other men being vulnerable or emotional in any kind of way. So like a lot of men really think that's only reserved for women.
Yeah.
So it's just ignorance, not knowing any better. So how can you do better if you don't know better?
And then too, just to kind of throw in there, like lack of identity too.
Okay.
Because if you don't really know who you are, and I think that's why it's important that men ground themselves in the word. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord is going to tell you who you are, and only through Him will you know that it's okay to be weak. Because the world's not going to allow you to do that. Let's just call it spade a spade.
Right.
A man is not allowed to be weak in the world.
Jesus wept.
You know what I'm saying? Right.
And I will weep.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Like,
I'm weak.
And I will weep.
I mean, like, and I think that's the beautiful thing about the Bible. Jesus cried, David cried, the disciples cried. Psalms is David crying all the time.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
man was stressed. And that's the only place where that's okay. You know what I'm saying? The Bible says, in your weakness, I made strong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if you don't know that, if you don't know who you are in Christ, you're not gonna know, hey, it's okay for me to be weak. This doesn't make me less of a man. This doesn't make me like not a good role model. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that, and that makes sense, because I don't think, and this me getting on y'all side, don't come for me, but like I feel like a lot of women don't understand all of, like, it's so much of me that we don't take the time to sit and think all that this man has to go through and what he deals and battles with internally, and the type of pressure that he have on himself. Before we just say, well, do you know what I gotta do? Do you know this? You know what I gotta deal with? Stop thinking about yourself. Just a hot sick. Stop thinking about yourself and understand where this man coming from and what he has to go through, and actually give him time to develop and grow.
Yes.
You give him chance after you gave Larry a chance after he cheated on you. At least this man right here willing to work on and go through that with you. So y'all make sure to keep that for yourself. Keep that for yourself. What is it like loving a Christian man? What is it like loving a Christian man?
Loving a Christian man.
Okay, let me give you some context. Do you need context?
I mean, you can't get it. Go ahead. What's the context?
Go ahead. And then I give the context after.
She's gonna throw me a bone and take it back. Got you. All right. Anyways, loving a Christian man is peaceful.
Come on, non-toxic.
It is safe, but it is also kind of scary, because you never know what God has called him to do. And I say it's scary because you feel safe enough to follow this man wherever he's going. You trust enough to lead you. And you trust he's going to lead you properly.
Right.
And there's always some, uncertainty behind that. Or maybe even, the Lord told me to, move to Antarctica. You like, Antarctica, but you still have to follow him and be faithful to him. You back in your bag?
Yeah, we going there. Girl, that's where we going. Okay.
I know that's right. But yeah, so like it can be like very peaceful, because at the end of the day, who he has first. It's always gonna be God, and then you second. And as you being okay with that, as you understanding that his priority will always be with what God says, and then and that right there is security. That should be enough to make a woman be like, okay, great. I know for a fact that I can just play my supporting role and I'll be good.
Yeah.
Or more, so a lot of people do more.
I mean, shoot, you pretty much said it all. Loving a Christian man, I feel like it looks like a roller coaster a lot of times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Tell us the truth. Come on here.
I think that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because the love that culture gives us is just different from what it really is. And like, real love is like real sacrificial. You know what I'm saying?
Sacrifice.
And like both of y'all are making like a lot of sacrifices and a lot of compromises, a lot of dying to your flesh. Like, I think it's a roller coaster, honestly. And you just gotta be down for the ride.
Y'all hear that?
Oh, that's right. You better say that.
So, what would you guys say that what the perfect you looks like?
Perfect me?
Ain't no perfect me. I messed that up. It's too late.
Okay.
I screwed that up the day I was born.
Thank you.
But, I'll say a better me would look like one who's more emotionally stable. I'm still learning to understand my emotions. That's part of the reason I don't want to date right now. You know, I'm still building my communication skills. So, you see, you figured that? I feel insulted.
No, like, I'm talking about out there.
No, I'm just messing with you. But now, like, it's a lot of areas in my life that I'm rebuilding. You know what I'm saying? So a better me would be those pieces being put back in place, and some of them just switched out altogether. And like a more confident me and who I am, just as, you know, the man that God has called me to be, and my gifts and my talents, and just where I'm going in life. It's almost it's just a more confident me, you know?
I like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna say better too, because ain't no perfect. Anyways, like I was saying, a better me would be like more patient.
That's good.
Cause
come on, patient. That's me.
No, yeah.
Lord, where we at? 2 piece, 3 piece.
So yeah, it's me being more patient. It's also me learning how to better control my emotions, because I'm a very emotional person. You know, I was taught to be emotional growing up by my mother. So like, it's me understanding, you know, how to control those emotions and how to know, you know, the difference between how you feel and reality.
Yeah.
And that's something I think can help a lot of women. Understanding, you know, like how you feel and actually reality. Because a lot of women like to act out of emotion. Be like, oh, he said this. Okay, so he said this, so now I'm upset and I'm mad.
What it is,
you know,
we broke up.
Exactly. You know, but you know, like for example, he's like, you know, I just don't trust you right now. You're like, oh, my feelings hurt, I don't love you, this and this and that. But like, okay, no, I'm not gonna love you.
On camera? Wow. Okay.
No, something.
Okay, go
Come on,
ahead.
let me live.
Go ahead.
So I'm saying like he might say, you know, I don't trust you right now or whatever, and like she will feel hurt, but like the reality of it, you know, he probably gave the explanation, but you were too emotional to understand. But the reality is, he said, it's not you, it's me. You know, I just have walls to let down. So sometimes you have to separate how you feel with what they're actually saying in reality. Right. You know, like that would definitely help. So I'm trying to learn to do that, you know, and just overall just be closer to God.
Yeah. Just
stick more to him and really, really let him lead me and stop being arrogant thinking I can lead my dog home.
Come on.
Ooh,
that's me too.
So yeah. So that's the better me. Once I can get that together, you know, die to my flesh, all those things, you know, because I wrote about the person God told me I was gonna be. And so that's what I want to be, the one he showed me.
Come on. That's good though.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I think I'm one of those people too that be trying to get out there like, I'm gonna just do it.
What?
Like, I'm gonna have a seat. You have a seat. I gotta be like,
Let me see who you like, Jeff.
Yeah.
Sit down.
You said you know, you be saying sometimes about weed.
I be confident in all the wrong stuff. And then the stuff he really want me to do, he gotta push me out there like, come on,
like,
go get started.
Wait a minute.
Right. Anything else, I'm out there.
That's good too. And for the emotions part, other than the shit. Okay. I used to be like that. I used to be one of those girls that, especially like in past relationships or whatever, dude would tell me something and I'd be like, why you said that? Or why you feel like this? So I'm just thinking about what he did to me and how he made me feel, that when it's time for him to sit down and tell me why. First of all, anyway, but like when you sit down and you telling me why, instead of me putting my emotions to the side and say okay and trying to understand, I just reacted out of emotion. So I think that's really important that you really brought that up, because I don't think too many women know that most of the reason why stuff is toxic, why you can't find you a good Christian man, or a good Christian man can't find you, or you having all these dead-end relationships and stuff like that, is because you're not really willing to put your pride and emotion to the side. Because loving a real Christian man, I never have, but I feel like God gave me the grace to know this. Loving a real Christian man gonna take you putting your pride to the side. It's gonna take you saying, all right, let me suck it up. Now what you said, what the Lord say, where we moving to? Okay, all right. Can you ask God to give me that compliment? Like, let's talk about it. Now, instead of just saying, He just want me to move and leave. It takes that.
I'm a social worker / therapist, things like that. I had to learn that from this guy. I was out here acting a pure dumb fool. And he was just getting on my head bad. It's good to have friends that hold you accountable.
Come on, friendship.
And he was just like, okay, yeah, how you feel is for real. But like, look at the reality. How you feel in reality is two entirely different things. I'm just like,
it makes sense.
Just
come on.
Hey,
I don't remember saying that.
Accountability. We love it though. We love it. So, I'm finna get y'all business a little bit.
All right.
Well, that's my cute exit. We had a good time.
Nope. Hot seat.
Oh, all right.
I don't feel the heat yet, but okay.
We don't run from
Okay, good. I'm glad you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember this.
All right.
Okay.
Remember this. Okay. So our next subtopic is cheating / heartbreak.
Okay.
I think a lot of women that watch me and a lot of girls that shout out to y'all. I have a lot of women that come to me behind the scenes, DM me on social media, anything, and they like, Deja, I want to know how to deal with this. First of all, this never happened to me in my life, y'all. Never happened to me in my life to have people come ask me for, other than my friends, but just random people say, Deja, I love the way your life look. I love the way you smile. I love the happiness that you have. Teach me how to get there. This what I'm going through. And most of it is relationships, and a lot of women are going through heartbreak. And making them bitter, and making them feel like they don't want a man, making them feel like they want to be with a girl, make them feel like, oh, I'm by this day, I'm doing this, and I'm finna go do this, all because of that rejection factor, or that fact that they feel like they're not enough, because cheating scandals are. Me and my boyfriend broke up, we was together 17 years, and you only 17. Like, you know what I mean? So, I said I wanted to talk about that with y'all so we can get a male's perspective on the way that type of stuff works. Now, my first question is there a deeper meaning behind why some people cheat? I don't want to say why some men cheat, but I'm going to say some people.
Wow.
But I mean some men.
I'm actually, I've never cheated in my life except on tests.
Sure?
Cheated on Buku and them.
Same.
You sure?
I'm 100% sure.
100% sure.
But I will say, that's a twofold answer because it's yes and no. Because I feel like for some people, now I'm not saying it's right. By no means, cheating is not right.
Yeah.
Don't tolerate cheating. However, I think there's always a deeper meaning to why we do the things that we do, because it's always like in response to something. Something in you is inconsistent. You know what I'm saying? Something in you doesn't know how to commit. Something in you essentially is broken, and you never took the time to fix it.
Right.
And if you just trifling, then that's just what you like to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I feel like a lot of times there is a deeper meaning, because I've met people who have been married who have cheated before, and they love their wife to death. But then they'll say stuff like, "My heart wasn't there. I wasn't able to be vulnerable there." You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say yes and no, but I don't condone cheating.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a lot of the times, cheating, like he said, it has to do with that person, or in your case, that man. Because because to be honest, maybe he just can't necessarily, like he said, feel vulnerable. I'm gonna more so just say necessarily he can't commit because he doesn't know how to commit, or maybe because he's scared to commit. Or maybe because he feel like he can't handle. It's okay, it's all right. Bless her, Jesus. I thought I laughed first.
Let's go back like
to when he started talking.
Back when I started talking.
Probably.
What I said.
maybe like 2 sentences back. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about 2 sentences back.
I'm just gonna start over.
Committing, not knowing how to commit.
Because you did Buku math and sent you to that.
These are one of the bloopers.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's the song. Okay. So I really think some men really just cannot commit. And I really think it's a them thing because, like, you know, like Jared said, it really has a lot to do with some unresolved things or just being trifling, trauma, all kinds of stuff. Or maybe they're just, like, scared. You know, a lot of men really, if they cheating and acting the way that they acting, they really boys, if we being for real. A lot of these boys out here doing what they do because, like, they are unable to show it in any other kind of way.
Yeah.
Like, instead of letting your woman know, hey, I'm feeling real pressured in this and stuff of that sort, I really just, you know, we need to talk about that. Instead of doing that, like I said, lack of communication, they go out and cheat and find some other woman who or some other girl who gonna sit up here and give them that satisfaction that they weren't getting there. You know, some of them seeking different satisfaction. A lot of the times, they probably just bored.
Yeah.
And like, honestly too, I just want to throw this in there. I think there's a lack of discipline because with a lot of guys, like, they really just cheat for sex.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And like, he might be getting it at home. He might not, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. But I think the problem comes down to they have watered down what sex means.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more about a pleasure and a feeling and that release of dopamine. And so it's not about the connection with the person anymore. It's about having that release in your brain.
Yeah.
And so they'll go wherever they can to get that. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to think about the trail of damage that's left behind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's a discipline thing too.
So let me ask this. Yes or no? Just yes or no?
Oh, this is so.
Have you guys ever? No, it's not yet.
Okay.
Look at me, not yet. Have you guys ever been cheated on?
Yes.
Not to my knowledge.
But do you feel like you have?
Yes.
Your guts and guts and hearts and hearts.
Yes.
Okay, so is there a way that you, from the male perspective, could tell a woman, is there a way for her to come back from heartbreak?
With the same man?
And go back to him?
Yeah.
Is that not the question?
Is she going back? Yes or no?
If she don't need
yes
to,
or
tell
no?
her.
Yes
if she don't need to,
you
tell
gave
her.
us. Yes or no?
Yeah, yes or no?
No, both.
Oh, look, now we see hot.
Let's get both. I'm saying, like, because some of them do.
Okay.
We done all been there.
Okay.
Like,
All right.
you get cheated on? Okay, sorry. But we done all been there before where we done had a situation where we done had that going on and you still go back to the man. But I don't want to just count them out too and say, okay, don't tell them. And also the girls is like, yeah, I ain't with them anymore. Like,
Yeah.
sorry. But you get what I'm saying? Like, so both of them really.
So, okay,
I'm gonna
yeah.
say, oh, you got
Go
it?
ahead. No, go.
Oh. I'm gonna say, you need to use wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Use wisdom.
And pray for that.
Yeah, because like, I'm gonna be honest with you. If we boyfriend and girlfriend and you cheat on me, I'm more than likely done. And so my reason for that is, yes, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend, it is serious. It is a commitment to a degree, but dating is the precursor to marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And like, I'm gonna be honest with you, if that's something that you can't get together now, I don't know that I can trust you.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing, you might get your act together, but I know me. You know what I'm saying? The Lord can heal me from that, but I still might not trust you.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably would just leave. Now, if I'm married, then that's different. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to talk that one out though. I'm not gonna lie to you. We're gonna need all kinds of marriage counseling. And it's gonna take me a while to, you know, or in y'all's case, you know, it would take a while. But I would just definitely say use wisdom. Don't go back to something that you want to just because you're lonely or because, you know, that's the only person you've ever had in your life, or because you feel less than. Like, you really need to, if you're debating on going back, you really need to look in the mirror. I'm not gonna lie to you, because something in you might be off, and it probably is. No, I'm not trying to be
Hold
mean.
on now.
You know what I'm saying? Well, no, I'm not being
You gotta
mean.
talk to them, Grace.
But so let me tell you this though. So women typically think emotionally, men typically think logically and practically, right? So if I'm led by my emotions, emotions will say, well, he said he was sorry. So I could believe that because I love this person. You know what I'm saying? But logically, if he cheated on you, something ain't right with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? that shouldn't be something that you just running back to. Like, you really need to take a step back from that and really look at the situation, look at him, look at yourself, and see what was really going on.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of times our emotions and our feelings for people will make fools out of us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to be no fool for love or what you thought was love.
Come on now.
So use wisdom. Definitely.
Yes, indeed. And like a friend of mine once told me, don't go back to something that's left you broken. You can't go back to something that's left you broken. And like Jared said, like within context, you know, it's like you definitely now if your reasoning for going back is because you are lonely, because you feel like you have nobody else or the prospect, then that's you saying that you don't trust God. That's you saying that you don't trust that God has something better for you. That's you saying that you don't trust God can send you that love that you want, can send you that godly man and all kinds of things. So like my thing I would most likely say about this broken heart, like you really have to walk it out. That's all I can say. You gotta walk that thing out. Go through all the stage, because heartbreak is like grief. Because you're losing somebody. You losing somebody who is still here.
That's good.
And that hurts even worse than like losing somebody who you're not gonna see no more, because you know that's it. All right, cool. I gotta get over it and go on. But losing somebody you can possibly still see again, you still have love for, history and all that, that can break your heart all over again. In determining whether or not you should go back to that person, you really need to be praying. Like, and if you have just ran back to this person without even doing it, you're already in error. Because obviously you're acting illogically, you know, emotionally. You just like, oh, I love this person. Sometimes love ain't enough. It ain't.
Yeah.
It really ain't. It really ain't. And so like, obviously at this point you either ignored the red flags, like didn't weigh them out. Like you really have to really think, pray, you know, ask God, what do you need me to do?
Yeah. Because
there's been cases like that, you know, with Pastor Mike Todd and Natalie, you know, when he cheated on her. And she said she locked herself in that room, was it for like a day, 24 hours, 48 hours?
Something like that.
Just praying and fasting and journaling to God, what should I do? You know, and God gave her an answer. And I look at them happily married. You know, there are some cases that can come back, but just be smart, use wisdom.
And I think too, for us younger people, the social media era, we gotta be careful with that. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because social media has romanticized love so much that that's all we desire. You know what I'm saying? And we wrap our whole lives around it. And then when we finally get somebody, instead of remaining two individuals, we literally become one. And they wrap their whole lives around together. And then when that person leaves, now you have nothing.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna feel lost, you're gonna feel broken. You know what I'm saying? You didn't even have a life outside of that person. You didn't know who you were outside of that person.
Yeah.
So everything that you know is with that person. And you have to be careful of that, because like, and I don't mean to be rude, but that's like desperation. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't understand how that's really supposed to go. And so that's why you gotta be careful when you're dating, to still be two separate people.
Yeah.
Like y'all need to have separate friends, separate hobbies.
Yeah.
Y'all don't need to spend every waking moment together. Y'all
not move in together.
Do not have sex. Sex will connect you, and it literally will join the spirits. And then when the two separate, you're going to be grieving.
Say that.
Like a part of you has died. It is gone now. That's why you need to be careful with that.
So number one thing with all that, just keep God in the center of your relationship.
That's it.
Right.
Truly.
And if that man don't know God, leave him where he is.
Where
Leave
he
him
at?
alone.
Leave him alone.
Run.
Like Stiffy.
Yeah.
Like Stiffy.
Thank you.
And I don't think we talk enough about the purity while like y'all.
don't.
We get into it though. Don't worry about it. I got something for you. But I'ma come here. I'm gonna come back around. I promise you, I'm bringing it back around. So, for those of y'all who don't know, and I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit of my business, because I don't really be telling y'all my business. But I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit of my business. I was in a relationship for about 8 years.
What?
8 or 9. Me and this guy got together when we was 13.
Okay.
It was on and off.
13.
On and off.
Okay.
Consecutive. But we was in between time. We was soul tied and soul tied. Okay. So in this, I found myself in a cycle over and over and over again. We'd be off a year, start back talking. We'd be off 6 months, start back talking. Hunch a little bit here. I'm being honest. Hunch a little bit here, hunch a little bit there. You know, like, and it just became like a cycle. And I was telling Kaylin actually earlier, about how in that process I wanted to leave so bad, but it was something that was like holding me hostage to where I couldn't leave. My mind would tell me like, girl, you need to go. Girl, you doing this to you. Girl, woo. But that, oh, I love him. Oh, I don't want to be by myself. Oh, I don't know how to, I don't know how to move on. I've known this man since I was 13 years old. Like, I've been with him since I was 13 years old. I don't know nobody else. I don't know nothing else. So in the process of that, when I had to struggle with going back over and over again, it became worse and worse every single time. I mean, it got domestic. Come home, heal for 2 months, and then go right back to him. And I had to look myself in the mirror one day and be like, Deja, is this how much you love yourself? Is this how much you love yourself? That you will let somebody who could care less about you and what you got going on, because it's been proven over and over again that he don't care about you. He say he loves you, he say he cares, but what his actions showing you? It ain't matching up. So in that, I went to God, kind of like how we was talking about with Natalie Todd or whatever. I went to God and I was like, God, I don't want to do this no more. Like, if there's some way you can tell me and show me how to get out of this, I do whatever it is you want me to do. Promise you, that's what I said. I do whatever it is you want me to do. Just get me out of this situation. So in that process, one, my first step was to make up my mind for real, because the other times where I felt like I didn't want to be there, I didn't make up my mind. I was a little weak.
Yeah.
I had it that I didn't want to be there, but I couldn't make the effort to do that. So my first step was making up my mind and saying, God, I don't want to go through that no more. I don't want to do it no more, for real. Making up my mind, then going on my purity walk. Then he showed me another side of him that I was never able to tap into while I was still in it. Because he had to snatch me out of it. Then I got into a better prayer life. Then I got into my spirit being a whole lot better than what it used to be. I can hear God so much clearer now. I know when the Holy Spirit telling me to shut up and sit down. I know, like, I can tap into that now. So that changed my whole perspective on Christ and how good God is for real and what he could do for me. Because now, everything that you went through, all the lessons you learned in that relationship, now I need you to get in front of the camera and tell other women about it. Now I need you to sit down and tell other women how to get through it. Now I need you to sit down and tell somebody what they bow ass gonna look like, even though you don't have yours yet. So it took it to a whole nother level for me. So my next question will be for y'all. Could y'all share with us your heartbreak story? Give us a summary. Give us a summary of your heartbreak story and how that changed your perspective on Christ.